Hey y'all, good to see you again here on Grassroots Gardening. I'm Ryan and I've done it again. So this is my weekend off. I went to Grassroots Nursery just to get a few plants to continue planting on our driveway, and I kind of filled the truck up again. So on my weekend off from plants, we're going to be planting plants. But if you guys know me, it's really not work. This is going to be fun, so let's go learn about these plants together and let's go get our hands dirty, and the more you know, the more you grow. All right guys, we'll get our plant mobile loaded up, and we have got some really cool things we're going to plant today. One of them being this really cool form of Amorphophallus, which is your voodoo lily, and I'll tell you more about it once we get her to the spot that we're going to plant her. So let's get the plant mobile loaded up. Luis, our friend, has gone to get us a big, huge heaping scoop of compost, and then he's also going to bring us down a pile of mulch. That way when we get our plants planted, we can mulch around them, make it look pretty, and also help the plants, help the earth stay moist and keep the weeds down. So let's get loaded up and go around there and meet him. I got way too many plants again. Now, why I do this every time to myself? It's what happens when you're a plant nerd and you have no self-control. You just get too many plants. I tell myself when I go to the nursery, Ryan, don't get too many plants. But then, inevitably, I have a little bit of space left in the truck, and I fill it up, and then all of my free time is spent planting. I know it'll be worth it eventually, but why can't I just get half a truck full? Why do I have to get an entire truck full every time? It's a sickness, y'all. I can't help it. Luis got us the big bucket today. I'm gonna have him dump it right here on this side of the driveway. That way we can bring the plant mobile and we can just scoop out of it ourselves. All right, that'd be good. I tell you what, go ahead and dump it all there, and then I'll just come get it as I need it. Oh, that's pretty stuff right there, guys. Oh yeah. All right, thank you. Now you just bring me a scoop of mulch. Oh, Luis is a good dude. Don't know what I'd do without him. Look at this pretty stuff here. Oh, this makes me excited. Oh, and it smells so good too, and it's nice and warm. Plants are gonna love that. So now we'll just take the plant mobile, which is on the other side of the road there, and we'll just come scoop out of here as we need material, and we're gonna just do some plantings in different areas of my driveway. Driveway's about a half-mile long, and I've got portions of it irrigated, this being one bed right here where we did the couple camellia plantings a while back, if you remember those videos. And so I just want to fill in. I'm just going to fill these beds slap up, and whatever makes it, and then whatever I don't like in there, we'll simply just yank it out, cut it down, do away with it, whatever, replace it. Because that's how I do my beds. My beds are always evolving, and I just plant them full and then see what does best. This compost is going to help us out a lot, especially in this bed here, y'all. Because look at this soil. And it's been dry as I'll get out lately, but look at how sandy the soil is. A lot of sand. So that compost that Luis just brought down is going to really help with water retention and just enriching the soil in general. And look at the pretty hickory down in this valley. So this is the valley where I got some trees marked. I want to come down and remove some of the smaller hickories and oaks and plant Japanese maples once we get the irrigation set up in this valley. But isn't that pretty? Reaching its peak fall color. Hickory has that beautiful golden colored leaves to it in the fall. We're almost at Halloween now, and so they are really doing their thing and just looking absolutely gorgeous. That valley is just beautiful, and when I get done with it, I want it to be just full of Japanese maples, and when fall time comes, this thing's just going to look like it's on fire. All right, here comes Luis with our mulch. I think we're just going to put it right here, and then again, when we get done planting, we can just come throw it into the plant mobile. That should be good. This is our pretty cherry brown mulch. Hang on, we're going to might cover up that plant. Okay, good, we didn't. Perfect. That'd be great. So yeah, this is our cherry brown mulch that we make up in the same area that we make the compost. That's a cool bucket on that Hyundai right there. Thank you, Louise. You the man. That's a big old loader to be bringing down the driveway for sure. But he's real careful, and I shouldn't say anything until he gets safely out of the driveway. He hasn't knocked anything over yet. I really like the color of this cherry brown. It's my favorite. It's got that little red hint to it, and it just kind of pops. It looks natural, yet it gives a little richness to it with that color. So it's my favorite by far. All right, guys, what we're going to plant first today is a really cool shrub. This is Cephalotaxus harringtonia. It's a Japanese plum yew, and it has real cool evergreen needle-like foliage. And this is a mounding shrub, so it's going to get probably 3-ish tall, maybe 5 wide, something like that. But just picture kind of just a big evergreen mound, if you will. And so I'm going to put 3 of them right here along the driveway, so as you round the bend right there, you know, hopefully these will grow in and just create this big mass of just cool evergreen foliage, and hopefully the deer won't like them. I've not planted these Japanese plum yews before, but I read that deer don't really care for them, so hopefully that's true, because they have eaten like everything else that I've planted this year. I mean, everything. Japanese maples, hydrangeas, azaleas. It's almost like their palate just changes, and they're just like, hey, let's eat some of this today. I don't know. So anyway, this is what we're going to plant first. I'm going to take some of my land and seed compost, mix in with the native soil, and then we're going to plant them, add our biotone, of course, and then mulch around it, and let's see what this looks like. All right, so that's about where I want him. And, you know, I have a truckload of plants, and obviously I can't take you guys around and show you every single one, or we'd be here for days. I actually ain't got time for that. So what I'm going to do is just highlight some cool plants that we carry at the nursery too, and something that you can find online, or if you live close enough to Grassroots Nursery, you can come by and pick up from us. And so I'm just experimenting with these plants to make sure that the deer don't like them, check their growth habit, and just see what they like, so that I can pass that information on accurately to the customers. So let's get this 3 planted, and then we'll move on and see what else we got to get in the ground before the rain comes, which hopefully is coming, because we haven't had rain in forever. And this particular variety of Japanese plum yew is called Duke Gardens. They found it evidently up at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. And it stood out due to its compact growth. You know, traditional plum yews will get a good bit larger, but this one stays nice and low and does its nice little mound type thing as we discussed earlier. And so I'm just going to dig my hole 3 times as large. And when I say large, I mean width-wise, as the container that it's coming in. And so this is a 3-gallon container, and so we just want to be 3 times as wide as the container. Gives those roots some nice loose soil and encourages them to grow out, and versus just staying, you know, in the ball that they kind of are in right now. So when they have this nice disturbed, excavated, easy to root into soil, then those roots are more apt to kind of go out and search for food and water, which is what we want them to do, so that they can establish themselves better and have a better chance for survival. Okay, so we've got our hole dug about 3 times the size of the pot, and we've got our Espoma land and sea compost here, as well as some of our compost, the good stuff that we make. And I'm doing that because, you know, the more beneficial microbes we have, the better, in my opinion. So with our microbes that we introduce into our material, the land and sea from Espoma, and then also the Espoma biotone, we're just going to have a beneficial microbe party going on this hole, and they're going to help those roots out and help them go find the nutrients that they need, and just give this plant the absolute best chance for survival. Now, we are in very sandy soil, so the other thing that these composts are going to do is help hang on to moisture, and then also just offer that great organic fertilizer that's going to feed and continuously feed these things for a good while to come. So that's why we're adding this material to the native soil. There is fertilizer, of course, in this native soil, but it's pretty poor because it is so sandy. Everything leaches through. So this compost is really going to help hold on to the fertilizer and moisture, and just really help this plant out tremendously. So I know that I've dug down about the right height, but if we were to just leave it in the pot and put it in here, I can already tell that's going to be too deep. The soil level is going to come in about right here, and we certainly don't want to plant her too deep. So let's get her on out of the pot, give it a couple good hits, loosen it up, and look at the root ball. So this is kind of what I was saying a while ago. We want those roots to be encouraged to go out in search of food and water. We don't want them to stay in this little ball where they've been living, you know, all of their life in a container. So we'll kind of just agitate the roots a little bit, just break them up. That way they'll be more apt to go out into the surrounding soil and not sit there and just choke itself. But again, we got the hole a little too deep. So I'm going to pull her out. We're going to add some of the good stuff. Compost. This is the blend that we make ourselves. And we're going to put that just like so. Then we're going to dip into our big bag of biotone. We're going to take this biotone and we're just going to sprinkle it all around. And then also what I'm going to do to get it in contact with the roots so that it can really help it go to work real fast, we're just going to sprinkle it all over the roots. And I love seeing that stick to the root ball. That way I know those microbes are in contact with the root system, and they are going to really help this plant to thrive. So now we're just going to set her about like that. And you know, honestly, I think we need to go even a little bit higher looking at it. So let's add some more good stuff. Let's add some Espoma land and sea compost. I love their stuff because it's nice and chunky. Look at that. That is just going to drain super well. So let's mix that together. And now I know we're going to be high enough out of the hole. I'll reapply some more biotone. You really can't, I don't have a recipe of how much I put in there, but you can't go wrong with using that stuff. And it's hard to burn because it is all organic. I'm liking that right there much better. Now what I'm going to do is take some of our native soil and put it back in the hole. And that's why I put it in a 360-degree ring around the hole, so that I can easily just kind of push it back in from all directions. And then we're going to blend in some more Land and Sea compost to give it that good organic food and just really help with the drainage. I've got some more of the good stuff compost here. We'll give it another layer. And then now we'll go ahead and add the rest of that good stuff. Push it all around, and then I'm probably going to now finish it off with my native soil just to kind of cap it here and finish the planting with the soil that we dug out of the hole. And it really does help to put that soil in a 360-degree ring around as you're digging. Just like I said, then I can just take and grab it and dump it right back easily on all sides of the plant. Now we're just going to kind of gently tamp as we're doing this. Just kind of press lightly. I don't want to compact it because that's just going to choke out the ability for water to get down easily through the soil, and just reduces, the oxygen down there, which we don't want to do. We just don't want it to be, like cement. We don't want it so packed nothing can get down to the roots. And so let's look and see how we're looking underneath this plant. Okay, so you can see the roots pretty crazy on this plant. I mean, they were all coming out of the top. I'm okay with some of them being exposed like that right there, because I'm going to bring in mulch for one, which I know will cover those roots, and two, we'll probably just take a little, in fact, let's do it now. We'll just take a little compost. What I'm trying not to do, I don't want to cover up any higher on the stem than right there. That's the root ball. That's the crown of the plant. That's where it was in its pot. If we cover that up, we could kill her. So we don't want to cover up any of that stem or trunk right there. So I'm just going to spread kind of a thin layer right around just like that, and move this pine straw so you can see. And she's pretty much planted, other than bringing in some mulch now and getting her covered up. And the camera's just doing whatever it wants to do. So anyway, she's pretty much planted, and we're going to get these other two in the ground, and then we'll bring in our cherry brown mulch, get this whole area mulched up, and see what it looks like. Whoa, girl. All right, guys, we've got the plant mobile full of our cherry brown mulch. We're going to get these things mulched up, and this should really make it pop. And I'm really excited about the contrast of these two, the plant versus the mulch. So let's get this thing mulched out and see what she looks like. Love my old Kawasaki here. This is a diesel mule, and I've had it for years and years. Abused the hell out of it, and she just keeps going. Drowned it a couple of times. It's four-wheel drive, so it'll go just about anywhere. Man, that's looking good already. Love spreading mulch. It's kind of like painting, I guess, for some people. But you just get that instant gratification because it just so quickly changes the landscape and makes it look so much prettier. We'll come all the way out here to the edge and maybe even let some spill off down towards the driveway too. I think that'll help with the curb appeal. So I like to lay my mulch down pretty thick for two reasons. One, it really helps to maintain the moisture level in the soil around our plants. And then two, we've got some Carolina jasmine and some other weeds trying to sneak up, and this will help suppress those. And if we lay it real thick, 3 inches or so, it should eliminate most all weeds. And I'm going to make sure we tuck it all up around those roots too, because these roots on these plants are really right there on the surface. So we want to protect them from the oncoming cold. And I'm just going to kind of draw a little line, a couple feet on this side of the shrubs, because we're going to do later planting all up in this whole area. So that way it doesn't look stupid, if I just leave like a hard line or feather it into there. We'll just kind of complete sections as we go throughout this whole entire bed. Yeah, I think it'll look better if we just include this group of 3 trees right here. Just kind of make the bed look a little more complete. And it's not going to look totally complete. The reason is, it's not. So my beds are ever evolving. And so we'll come back as I find specimen plants that I want to put in these areas. And we'll simply move the mulch back, and then we can fill in as we see fit. But it's going to look way, way better than it did before. And our plum yews can go ahead and start rooting, establishing themselves, and start growing. Well, dadgum, y'all, I'm about tired. This bed looks way, way better. And again, it's not complete. We'll keep filling it in and keep letting it evolve. But so we've got our 3 Cephalotaxus harringtonia Duke's Gardens. That is the dwarf plum yew. They're good from zone 6 to 9. I've got them in part shade because in the south where we are, we're zone 8A. It gets pretty warm during the summertime, and they're going to need just a little bit of shade. We're going to turn the sprinklers on now because who knows if it's going to rain tonight like they say. But that's pretty much it, you guys. It's a great evergreen dwarf shrub. So come see us at Grassroots Gardens if you have time. Let me know also what you want to see in the comments box below, or just say, hey, whatever. But if there's a particular plant that I can get a hold of that you want to learn about, we'll learn about it together, because the more you know, the more you grow. See you guys later.